Many IELTS candidates score lower in the speaking test than they expect, not because their English is poor, but because they don't combine words in a natural way. High-scoring candidates take a different approach by using collocations strategically. Collocations are natural word combinations that native speakers use frequently. When you use them correctly, you show the IELTS speaking examiner that you can use English in a more advanced and natural way. Strategy can make a real difference. We've helped thousands of students prepare this way through our IELTS packages. They discover how strategic preparation can make a real difference in their results. In this video, you will learn 20 powerful collocations that can help you achieve a higher band score in IELTS speaking. By the end, you'll know what these collocations mean and how to use them effectively. Let's dive in. Before we start, let's look at what collocations actually are. A collocation is a natural combination of words that native English speakers use together instinctively. For example, they say, make a decision, not do a decision, and take a photo, not make a photo. Learning these word combinations is a powerful way to make your IELTS speaking answers sound fluent and natural. Let's begin with collocations for talking about learning and education. These are essential because education is a common topic in all three parts of the IELTS speaking exam. Using natural word combinations when discussing study, knowledge, and personal development will help your answers sound more advanced. The first collocation is broaden your horizons. This means to expand your knowledge, experience, or understanding of the world. It is a phrase that sounds very natural and is more advanced than simply saying learn more or get new experiences. For example, one of the main reasons I decided to study abroad was to broaden my horizons and gain a completely different perspective on my subject. This collocation works well in Part 1 and Part 2 of the speaking exam. It is particularly useful when discussing travel, education, or personal growth. The second common collocation is acquire knowledge. This is a much better alternative to the overused phrase get knowledge or simply learn things. It implies a deliberate and active process of building expertise. You could say, university gives students the opportunity to acquire knowledge in their chosen field. They can also explore areas they might not have considered before. Using precise collocations like this shows the examiner that your vocabulary is wide and well chosen. The next collocation is fulfill your potential. This collocation means to achieve what you are truly capable of, and it carries a sense of ambition and personal development. For instance, I believe that a supportive learning environment is really important if students are going to fulfill their potential. It helps them go on to do meaningful work. This phrase is particularly effective in Part 3, where you are asked to discuss abstract ideas about education, society, or human development. It shows the examiner that you can discuss complex ideas in a natural and confident way. Now, let's look at some collocations for discussing work and career. Professional topics come up very often in Parts 1 and 3 of the IELTS speaking exam. Using natural, high-level vocabulary in this area will help strengthen your lexical resource score. The fourth collocation is meet a deadline. This means to complete a task or piece of work by the required time. It is a phrase used frequently by native speakers in professional contexts. Using it naturally will help your answers sound more natural. You might say, one of the most challenging aspects of my previous job was managing multiple projects at once. I had to make sure I met the deadlines, even when things became unexpectedly complicated. This collocation is ideal for Part 2 when describing a work experience or a challenge you overcame. Let's move on to the next collocation. Make a significant contribution. This phrase means to do something that has a meaningful and positive impact in a particular area. It is a collocation that sounds quite formal. For example, I think the most fulfilling aspect of working in healthcare is knowing that you are making a significant contribution to people's lives on a daily basis. This kind of vocabulary shows that you can express complex ideas clearly. Another common collocation is face a challenge. This means to encounter a difficulty or obstacle that requires effort and determination to overcome. It is more advanced than saying, have a problem. For example, you could say, when I first started my career, I faced a number of challenges that I hadn't anticipated. However, each one taught me something valuable about my own resilience. This collocation is particularly useful in part 2 of the exam. In this part, you are often asked to describe a difficult experience or a time when you had to persevere. Here is an important point. Many IELTS students think that if they know advanced vocabulary, that's enough to achieve a high band score. But it is not enough. To do well on the IELTS, you must know what the examiners are looking for. For example, you need to use complex grammar correctly and understand what makes a high-scoring answer. That's exactly what we teach in our IELTS packages. Our students get step-by-step guidance on how to approach the IELTS effectively, so they feel confident and ready on test day. They learn how the IELTS examiners assess their performance and what they need to do to meet all the criteria. Our IELTS packages include lessons for all tasks, sample answers, practice tests, templates, and much more. If you want expert guidance for your IELTS preparation, click the link below to learn more. Let's talk about express your views. This collocation means to communicate your opinions or feelings on a topic clearly and confidently. It is a more advanced alternative to say what you think. Using it signals to the examiner that you can discuss abstract topics at a high level. For example, in a healthy workplace, employees should feel comfortable expressing their views on how company policies can be improved. This phrase helps you introduce your perspective in a smooth and confident way. The next one is a versatile collocation. Raise awareness. This means to help people understand the importance or seriousness of a particular issue. It highlights topics that they might not have considered before. For instance, social media has played a powerful role in raising awareness of mental health issues among young people. I think it has had a positive impact on society. This collocation comes up naturally when discussing environmental topics, health, social issues, and technology. These are very common themes in part 3 of the exam. So many test takers use the basic phrase have a big effect when describing influence or consequences. The collocation have a profound impact is an advanced alternative. It means to have a strong and significant effect on something or someone. You could say, living abroad for 2 years had a profound impact on the way I see the world. It also changed the way I interact with people from different cultures. Using this collocation shows that your vocabulary is strong and that you can express complex ideas naturally. Moving forward, let's discuss come to terms with. This collocation means to gradually accept a difficult or challenging situation. It usually applies to a situation that you cannot change. It is a very natural expression that high-scoring candidates often use when discussing personal experiences or emotional topics. For example, after moving to a completely new country, it took me quite a long time to come to terms with being so far away from my family. This phrase is particularly powerful in part 2, where you are often asked to describe personal experiences and reflect on your emotions and reactions. Next up is take something for granted. This collocation means to fail to appreciate how valuable or important something is. This usually happens because you have always had it. It is a thoughtful expression that works really well when discussing big picture ideas. You might say, I think many people in wealthy countries take access to clean water for granted. They often do so without realizing how many communities struggle to find safe drinking water every day. This is an excellent collocation for Part 3 discussions about global issues, inequality, or the environment. The 12th collocation is strike a balance. This collocation means to find a middle point between two contrasting needs or priorities. It ensures that neither side is neglected. It is an elegant phrase that shows the examiner you can discuss both sides of an issue confidently. For instance, one of the biggest challenges facing modern workers is learning how to strike a balance between their professional responsibilities and their personal well-being. This collocation is ideal for Part 3 discussions about work-life balance, technology, or the pressures of contemporary life. The next common collocation is spark an interest. This means to cause someone to become interested in or curious about something. It often refers to the very first time they feel that curiosity. It is an advanced alternative to simply saying, make someone interested, and can help your answer stand out. For example, you could say, it was my secondary school history teacher who first sparked my interest in archaeology. Her passion for the subject was completely infectious. It is helpful to use collocations like this, particularly in Part 2, when describing a person who influenced you or a hobby you enjoy. Let's look at gain hands-on experience. This collocation means to learn by actually doing something in a practical setting, rather than just reading or studying theory. It is a phrase that sounds natural and polished in both professional and educational contexts. You could say, I believe that internships are invaluable because they give students the chance to gain hands-on experience in their chosen field before they actually graduate. This collocation works particularly well in Part 3 discussions, where you are often asked to discuss education, employment, or the best ways to develop skills. By the way, if you want this channel to keep going, write yes in the comments, click like and subscribe. We only make videos that you actually want to watch. Now, let's explore some collocations for discussing society, the environment, and global issues. These are important collocations to practice, especially because Part 3 of the IELTS Speaking exam asks candidates to discuss abstract topics at a high level. Here is an essential collocation. Address a problem. This means to take action to deal with or find a solution to a difficult issue. It is a strong, confident phrase that shows you can engage with complex topics in a mature and analytical way. For example, governments around the world need to work together if they are going to address the problem of rising carbon emissions effectively. This collocation is particularly effective in Part 3, where you are often asked to discuss what individuals, businesses, or governments should do to tackle pressing challenges. Collocation number 16 is pose a threat. This collocation means to represent a danger or risk to something or someone. It is a precise formal expression. You might say, the rapid spread of misinformation online poses a very serious threat to democratic processes and public trust in institutions. This is a really useful phrase for discussions about technology, politics, health, or the environment. Using it can help you show that you have a broad vocabulary. Another phrase you can use is play a vital role. This collocation means to have a critically important function or contribution within a larger system. It is a versatile, high-frequency phrase that sounds natural across a wide range of topics. For instance, teachers play a vital role in shaping the values and attitudes of the next generation. This is why investing in good teacher training is so important. Using this collocation shows the examiner that your vocabulary is wide. It also helps you prove that you can talk about abstract topics with real confidence. Here is a more advanced collocation. Exert pressure on. This means to use force, influence, or persuasion to cause a change. It is a much more precise alternative to the basic phrase, put pressure on. For example, you could say, environmental organizations have been working hard to exert pressure on governments to introduce stricter regulations on single-use plastics. This phrase can help you show that you can use more formal vocabulary naturally. Next, let's look at undergo a transformation. This collocation means to experience a significant and fundamental change in character, appearance, or structure. It is a powerful phrase that demonstrates fluency and precision when describing change over time. For example, city centers across the United Kingdom have undergone a remarkable transformation over the past 2 decades. Many industrial areas have been redeveloped into vibrant cultural and residential spaces. This is an excellent phrase for Part 3 discussions about urban development, technology, society, or any topic that involves change and progress. Finally, the last collocation on our list is foster a sense of. This phrase means to encourage or nurture the development of a particular feeling or quality, especially within a group or community. It is an expression that can help your answer sound more advanced. You might say, one of the most valuable things that team sports can do for young people is foster a sense of belonging and shared purpose. This is increasingly difficult to find in a fragmented modern world. This is a powerful collocation that helps you express complex ideas about human experience with both fluency and depth. That's it! Those are 20 essential collocations that can help you sound more fluent and natural in your IELTS speaking exam. Using collocations correctly is one of the most effective ways to demonstrate to your examiner that your English is advanced. So practice these phrases and try to use them in your speaking practice sessions as often as possible. If you want expert guidance for your IELTS preparation, check out our IELTS packages using the link below. Our packages include step-by-step guidance, practice tests, templates, and other useful resources to help you feel confident on test day. I hope you liked this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you're notified when the next video comes out. Also, share this video with your friends so they can improve their IELTS score too. See you in the next video!